Hello everybody! Welcome again to another episode of the Medyo series talk show with me, Red Ollero. Andito po ang ating guest, very adamant women's rights defender. Attorney rin, sa makikita nyo sa face-to-face. Pero dito po siya, Attorney Lorna Kapunan. Welcome po sa aking Medyo series talk show here we can talk about serious topics but also kind of like inject light into it. Ngayon, ang topic natin, totoo ba ang pag-ibig? Joke lang. Kung totoo ang pag-ibig, bakit kailangan ng divorce? Yan ang mga tinatanong ng mga tao ngayon tungkol dyan sa very controversial divorce bill na nasa Senado ngayon.
Nasa Senado since June of last year kasi pinasa sa House nung May.
Okay.
Last year pa.
I just wanna parang set the groundwork here para sa mga nanonood, no? So right now nasa Senado siya. If it gets passed sa Senado, ano pang steps para maging law na siya?
Well, if it gets passed, may Senate version yan eh.
Yeah.
So yung Senate version, lalo na itong Senate, mas conservative ang Senate natin sa House, siguro i-dilute nila, no? Yung ibang provisions ng batas, ng proposed law. Tapos may bycam pa, i-reconcile pa yon. And Red, I don't see it happening. Parang hindi ko nakikita na mangyayari to before the next elections, no? Kasi may midterm tayo ng May.
Yeah.
Pag midterm by May, hindi pa tapos sa bycam at hindi pa napirmahan ng presidente, no? Assuming rinash ng bycam, at saka binalik sa House, yung reconciled version, pupunta pa yan kay Presidente.
Wow.
That's not happening in what? Up to May? So, ang mangyayari dyan, Red, same old. Ipa-file na naman yan. Parang back to square one.
Is it taking a long time compared to other laws?
Oh yeah, this has been the longest.
Oh, okay.
In terms of legislation. Sa experience ko, ang pinakamabilis talaga yung anti-hazing, no? Yung sa isang kaso ko, na it took less than a few months.
Wow.
Yung anti-hazing law, kasi yung parents na namatay, si Atty Castillo, talagang kitang-kita naman na it was a senseless death.
Yeah.
At napakadaming incidents na gano'n.
Okay.
So, nasa sense ng urgency ng both houses.
Gets.
Senado, siguro marami silang asawa, hindi natin alam. O maraming girlfriends, okay lang, no?
Hindi masyadong priority.
Hindi masyadong priority. Kasi sabi nga nila, excuse ng mga mambabatas yan sasabihin nila sa mga kabit nila, I'm sorry, I cannot marry you. Although I love you dearly. Kasi walang divorce Pilipinas. Hindi ko pwedeng iwanan ng asawa ko.
It's such a weird thing to parang sa buong mundo we're very behind on this, right?
Yeah, the only one that has no divorce is understandably the Vatican. No?
Yeah.
Kasi sa Vatican, city mismo, which by itself is a state.
It's a state, yeah.
Mga pare at madre lang nandun.
Yeah.
So talagang walang divorce. Ang latest na sumama sa divorce sa Europe is Malta.
Okay. So talagang nasa ano tayo. So we all know kind of the answer to this question, pero just for saying it, no. We are very resistant to it because do you think because we are very Catholic influenced?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the obvious answer. Kasi nagkaroon naman tayo ng divorce dati dito na baka hindi alam.
Talaga?
Nag-divorce na dito nung panahon ng kasi we were under the Spanish and then the Japanese and then the Americans.
Yeah.
Sa tatlong regime na yon, may divorce.
Oh, okay.
Iba-iba lang. Yung isa absolute, yung isa relative. Yung relative, dalawa lang grounds. Attempt on the life, tsaka concubinage.
Okay.
Or adultery. Tinanggal yan. Nagkaroon na tayo ng independence, nagkaroon tayo ng civil code, tinanggal yan. Tapos sa family code, parang medyo binalik. Family code nung panahon ni Cory, 1987, 1988, binalik, pero ang tawag doon is absolute declaration of nullity of marriage.
Okay.
Pero Sabi ko nga, if it talks like a duck, walks like a duck, facts like a duck, it is a duck. Ayaw lang nilang tawagan divorce.
Oo.
Ang church, Red,
Yeah.
ang church meron tinatawag na church annulment. Pag binasa mo yun, divorce yun
Why are they so allergic to the term?
That's precisely one of the things na sinasabi nga ni Senate President Cheese, baka nasa term na yun, huwag nating tawagan ng divorce. Tawagan natin ng amendment to the family code. Ganun. Tapos lagay mo yung substance ng divorce bill. Ang titigas ng mga advocates for divorce when it can really be blended to come out at the right, to come out with the right objective.
Yes.
Which is to end marriages that are no longer
They're no longer working. Yes.
Hindi naman ang objective ng divorce is to end all marriages. It is just to end marriages that really should be ended for various reasons, either out of love na or domestic violence or infidelity. Marami namang grounds. Hindi naman tayo no-fault country na kagaya ng ibang countries. Other Catholic countries ulit, Spain, Mexico, Brazil, no-fault divorce. If you've been married sa Spain, for instance, after 3 years of marriage, pwede ka na mag-divorce.
Kung ayaw mo na, parang
ayaw mo na. Wala naman tayong ganun sa batas sa proposed bill. In fact, dito sa proposal ng House, merong mandatory reconciliation. Miski naman file ka, meron kang hihintayin na 6 months.
Wow.
Bago magkaroon ng hearing sa korte. To see, the judge will see if the parties can still reconcile. Kasi kung minsan pride lang yan.
Yeah. So yung divorce na pinapasa natin, it's not like the divorce na sa ibang bansa. So we still need grounds. We still need grounds at klarong-klaro, these are not new grounds. Yeah, okay.
Yung grounds sa legal separation, ginawang grounds sa divorce.
Okay.
Mga 11 or 12 yan, no? Yung grounds sa annulment of marriage, ginawang grounds for divorce.
Yes.
Mga ganyan, yung grounds for declaration of nullity of marriage, ginawang grounds for divorce.
Yes.
Ang maganda, yung ngayon is kung naka-live-in ka na, if you've been living in for 5 years,
okay.
If you've been living in, you can get married without a license na.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you've been living in for 5 years, you can get married under existing law.
Yeah.
Kasi it's to encourage marriage.
I see.
Okay, but if you have been living in a broken marriage, apart, you've been living apart for 5 years, ground na yon for divorce.
Okay. So, pero how do you even present the facts na ganun yung nangyayari?
Hindi, yun na nga ang maganda dito sa pinasa ng House.
Okay.
Ngayon, yung tinatawag na declaration of nullity of marriage sa family code, isa lang ang ground, no? Psychological incapacity.
Yeah.
Pero yung psychological incapacity na yan, parang ginawang generic. Tinignan ng mga gumawa ng family code nung panahon ni Tito Cory kung ano yung ground sa church annulment. Maraming grounds yun. In fact, pag tinignan natin ang grounds, parang irreconcilable difference. Ground na yun sa church.
Oh, okay.
So, lahat yun pinagsama at ginawang generic psychological incapacity ang ground. But, ang hirap i-prove.
Yeah.
Kailangan mo ng number 1 at kamahal kasi hindi lang lawyer ang kailangan mo ng psychological expert. Tapos hindi lang pwedeng maliit ang ground, no? Dapat kanya pinapalaki, ginagawang grievous, no? Kasi one of the requirements of the law is it has to be grievous, malala. It has to be wala nang chance of reconciliation. At ang pinakamahirap, the ground should have existed even before the marriage. Kagaya ng how? Kagaya ng yung lalaki, nakikita niya yung tatay niya, single siya, nakikita niya yung tatay niya na nang bubugbog ng mami niya. So, ang akala niya, tama yun, to discipline, obedience, and all that. So, nung nag-asawa na siya, he thought na tama yung discipline na gano'n, yung binubugbog ng asawa. So, that ground is a ground.
Yeah.
Because the cause existed even prior to the marriage. Yung thinking niya na tama yung mambugbog ka ng
Okay.
asawa. Ay, di napakahirap.
Okay.
Red, no?
Sobrang hirap ni,
Yeah.
bakit kailangan may condition pa na before pre-existing siya? Parang gano'n.
Should have been existing before the marriage and
So,
became obvious during. Kunyari drug addict ka. Tapos, nung nanliligaw ka, hindi mo pinapakita, and all that. And nung nag-asawa ka, linabas mo na yung tunay na karakter mo.
Yeah.
O talagang babayero ka. Even when you were single, behave ka, nung nanliligaw ka, lumabas. Lumabas yung pagka-disloyal or yung infidelity mo during the marriage. So, there must be a preceding situation.
For it to be accepted as proper grounds. Wow.
It's so difficult.
Yeah. So, okay, hypothetically, you married someone and then he develops a new habit of being destructive. Parang ganon. Sabihin natin ganon, which lead to maybe domestic abuse or baka infidelity or whatever. That means hindi siya valid because it doesn't exist before his life. Ganon ba?
Under Article 36 sa Family Code, yung declaration of nullity of marriage, hindi yun ang remedy mo. Kasi yung
Hindi pa siya takasan, parang ganon. Hindi pwede.
Kasi hindi grievous. Yung physical abuse or domestic violence,
Okay.
ground yan for legal separation.
I see.
Ano yung legal separation? May kaibahan eh. Yung legal separation, kasi you're still legally married,
Yeah.
but may separation of bed and board. In other words, pag married ka, you're obliged to live together as husband and wife, to have consortium, as a couple, sex, and may conjugal properties. Sa legal separation, you're still married, ang separated lang doon yung properties mo, and then you're allowed to live separately from each other, legally.
Okay.
Pero, you cannot get married
Again,
because
Yes.
you're still married to someone.
why retain that? What is the purpose of it? In all sense and light, lahat ng aspects ng buhay mo, technically separated ka na, pero why are we so adamant in retaining na
Because
magdasal
the
pa rin kayo?
legislators are idiots. That's the simple answer, okay? I believe it's not that we advocates for divorce. Do
Yeah.
not believe in kasi nasa constitution yan. In the solidarity of the family. In fact, it strengthens the family.
It does.
It
Yeah.
strengthens the family. Hindi tama yung sinasabi ng mga oppositors or yung Catholic Church that it will create broken families. No. In fact, it will respect the institution of marriage because those that are separated or in an adulterous relationship now have the opportunity to clean up the marriage for the sake of their children. Di ba? So that the children can see what is right.
Yeah, tama.
And it doesn't have to be, hindi naman kailangan mag-away eh.
Yeah.
Kasi pwede silang nag-aaway na mag-asawa, pero iba yung obligation ng husband and wife sa parents.
Yes. Yeah. Sa parental, yeah. Sa children.
Sa children. Because while you break up a marriage, your child will always be your child.
Yeah. Tama. And at the same time, itong mga tawag doon nagpipilit na you have to stay married, it's actually making...
It's a farce.
Yeah. It's making the family quality worse, actually.
It's a comedy. Medyo serious comedy. It's a comedy. It's a tragic comedy.
It is such a misunderstanding talaga. Parang meron din kasi tayong, and syempre, one thing is the legislators. And then one thing is also, meron din tayong parating values na tinuturo sa media natin na okay, pag mahal mo, magpakamartir ka, pasawi ka, all out ka. Kaya sikat na sikat sa atin yung mga kanta na talagang would do everything for someone, ganong klase. Medyo toxic na actually to the point na ganon. I think also plays into that. Parang a lot of people who want to fight for love, parang ganong klase. 'Di ba? Parang they use that to kind of like make a villain out of the divorce, di ba? Parang ganun.
Walang mali yun. I think it starts with, apart from changing the law, we should also change the marital vows.
Yes.
Kasi sa church, pag nababasa ko yung marital vows, kasi matanda na tayo, lagi tayong ninang, gusto kong i-correct yung mga marital vows because it says, woman, obey thy husband.
Oh, yeah.
Wala nang ganun. Illegal na yun, ha?
Yeah.
Sa Bagong Family Code, circa 1988, wala na yung obligation of obedience. Ang meron is obligation of mutual respect.
Yes.
Hindi ba? So it's not like the woman should serve.
Yeah, masyadong subservient yung role no, ng woman.
Yes. Hindi mutual respect na. Even in terms of dealing with children, tinanggal na rin sa family code yung the husband is the head of the family.
Yeah.
Hindi na ganun. Joint parental authority.
Yes.
So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Yung decisions, major decisions. Saan mag-aaral ang anak natin? Tatay noon ang nagde-decide. O, saan tayo magtitira? Tatay noon ang nagde-decide. No? Saan tayo magbabakasyon? Tatay noon. Ngayon, di ba? Ngayon, joint. As a matter of fact, with the coming of this generation, children are now involved in decision making.
Yeah. Pati kung saan siya mag-aaral, saan magbabakasyon yung pamilya, umi-input na sila
Tsaka sila yung marunong
Yeah.
The best. My kids are like that. Mom, the best churros in town. Mom, the best ganyan. The best steak here. And ganyan. Siyempre, akala nila libre, no? Kasi, Mom, it's only plastic. Yung plastic na yung credit card, babayaran mo rin yan, di ba? But all I'm saying is, a family now is more interactive.
Yeah.
It's not like a role of dominance from the husband.
Hindi na siya just relying on patriarchy, no?
So we should respect that kind of family unit. Not only that, not to sound controversial, but definition of marriage also prohibits different kind of relationship. Kasi ngayon, merong advocates for same sex.
Yes.
But by definition, marriage sa family code is a permanent union between a man and a woman.
Yeah.
So, hindi pwede yung same sex unless you change the definition and dinagdag yung tinatawag na permanent. Dati wala yun.
Oh, okay.
Marriage is a special contract between ngayon ginawang permanent union. And that strengthens the concept of why marriage is until you die. And that's why my advice always is, if it's expensive for you, you just poison your husband. Poison your husband's coffee.
Yes.
Not to trivialize the discussion, but yun ang sense ng frustration ng mga
maabot na dun, no? Parang
madaan na doon. Sabihin nila, Ma'am, attorney, patayin ko na lang kayo yung asawa ko. Anyway, maraming for hire dyan.
Oo.
Galing sa Bilibid, maraming for hire. Or lasunin ko na lang. Of course, I don't say go ahead.
Yeah.
But it gives you
perspective.
Underscores the sense of frustration of women who are the victims of this. Because, sabi nga nila, how can a bee, bubuyo, go from flower to flower to flower? But the flower cannot go from bee to bee to bee. Di ba? Ganun yan. It's a double standard.
Yeah. It's very much a reflection of culture natin,
Correct.
what we prioritize and everything.
There's nothing wrong with our culture, I'm saying. But our real culture should center on respect. Should center on the values of love. If there is a loveless marriage, why? That's a farce. If there is domestic violence, why maintain an oppressive situation like that? When it's the children that get affected.
And ito yung medyo parang flipping the perspective din. Doesn't take a lot for people to approve your marriage. Parang it's not like parang they go through an extensive parang for sure ito in the next 10 years mentally stable tong person na to, he's not gonna do anything that would, jeopardize your relationship. It's not like that, naman, di ba? It's no, there's no really way to kind of like predict that or anything. So parang why is it such a permanent thing? Yun yung I think yun yung pinaka-question ng mga tao.
That's true. Maybe to balance, no?
Yeah.
I think the church, or those who are concerned with what they say is so destructive of the family, ang focus should be the premarital.
Yeah.
There should be now more focus on counseling, not during the marriage, but before the marriage.
Yeah.
Required rin naman yan ng church, pero some parishes are not so strict. Pinipirmahan na lang yan.
Oo, mabilis lang.
Mabilis lang yan because it's a requirement to get married in church, no? Yun ang patibayan ng church. Kasi yun ang expertise ng church.
Yes.
The church expertise is not the law. The church expertise is human relations. And that's where they should weigh in. They should, before they give the imprimatur, yes, you can get married, patibayin nila yung counseling nila, sessions. Are you sure you love this man? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Do you know his history? Do you know his family? Do you know that he's a drug addict? Is he into alcoholism and all that?
Has he addressed these problems?
Has he addressed these problems? Do you think he's a keeper? Would you like to have children with him? Etc. Yun ang dapat patibayan ng simbahan. That's their field of expertise. And in the proposed law of Congress, there is that provision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and it's to strengthen the couple's decision to stay together. They must make that decision prior to the marriage by knowing each other.
Tama.
So meron namang provision na yan sa proposed bill ng Congress.
So, kumbaga, hindi lang siya talaga really about the exit. It's really just yung totoong core value of that bill is really to strengthen these marriages.
People are focusing on the exit.
Yes.
When we should focus on the entry. Di ba? The entry into marriage is what we should all focus on. Let's not trivialize the sacrament, no? Because I'm a believer in marriage. I mean, my mom and my dad, Justice Lino Patao and Cristeta Taaka Patao, nag-holding hands pa sila. 90 years old.
Yeah.
Nanonood sila ng Netflix, nag-holding hands pa sila. Di ba? I mean, and you could see, kakaya ng daddy ko, we're Ilocano. Sinisiit pa niya yung kalunggong tatay ko. Ganyan. I mean, we have maids and all that.
Yeah.
But you can see, and that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
So it's not like all advocates for divorce have had broken marriages or have had failed relationships or have parents who did not care about them. No. Precisely. People like me, we are believers in the sanctity of marriage. I grew up in a loving family.
Yeah. It's the same with me, actually. Well, yeah, my parents are still together, still very sweet and everything. But that doesn't mean na parang if I'm pro-divorce, doesn't mean na parang I'm negating all marriages, di ba? Parang
precisely, you're validating.
Yeah.
You're validating what a good marriage should be all about.
Yes, exactly. And kunwari, if that doesn't exist in your marriage, you should have
It's
the
a
option.
farce.
Yeah.
It's a farce.
Yes, exactly. So,
it is what's important, sa pananaw lang yan eh. It is giving you options. It does not say that if there is a divorce bill, mag-divorce ka na. No. It gives you, it just adds, kumbaga menu. Sa restaurant, may menu ka ng pagkain, di ba?
Tama.
It gives you more options.
The option, yeah.
You can choose to remain in a loveless marriage. You're not forced to get a divorce.
Yeah.
It's your choice.
Yeah.
In fact, human right mo yun eh.
I mean, kunwari, kung gusto mong pilitin pa rin, di ba?
Yeah. Kasi meron tayong battered woman syndrome. Yung battered woman syndrome, yung can't live without.
Yeah.
Sanay na some people come to me and I try to help. But when they ask, somebody, let's say, with 6 kids.
Yep.
And I say, kung na-black eye ka na, ba't ka na naman nagpabugbog?
Yes.
Ba't hindi mo iwanan ng asawa mo? Ba't hindi mo sabihin si barangay ninyo? Sagot, attorney, ikaw ba magpapakain ng 6 na anak ko?
Yun.
So, sometimes it's also a function of economics. It's a function of poverty.
Yeah.
Women are bound to their spouses, to their husbands, because they're not financially able to live apart.
Yeah.
So, tuhog-tuhog na yan. Hindi lang values. It's an issue of poverty. It's an issue of economic dependence because yung kasama dun yung kultura. Yung kultura na yung babae, pangbahay or pangbahay at pangkama or kusina lang.
Yes.
Yun ang kultura natin. Your role as a wife, as a mother, is to stay at home. In fact, in the olden days, even women who were professionals had to give up their jobs. Di ba?
Yeah, when we get married.
Ngayon din lang ganun. So, from my experience as a family lawyer, sadly, ang mga brave enough to do it are those who are economically independent of their husband.
Yeah.
Because it's so expensive. And that is why it now gives, this proposed divorce bill, gives the option to others who may not be able to afford the existing remedies or options under the law.
Tama. Annulment is very expensive.
Annulment is very expensive. And it takes years.
Oo, ang tagal.
Tama.
May kailangan palang i-approve na psycho behavior, di ba? Parang gano'n.
Bayad rin yun. Hindi yun libre. And there are very few psychological experts. Maraming iba yung psychologist, iba yung psychiatrist. Yung psychologist, hindi doktor yun.
Yes.
Nagbibigay lang ng advice. There are very few psychiatrists. And that's what is required by the law.
Are the numbers of these, we definitely have statistics on who are these people that are just, tawag dun, just staying on these marriages even they are unhappy or masama na yung sitwasyon nila? Marami ba?
Yeah. We have statistics on victims of violence.
Okay.
The latest statistics show that 1 out of 4 women are victims of violence, domestic violence. 1 out of 4. Reported cases pa yan, Renda. Paano yung mga hindi nagre-report? 1 out of 4 reported cases are victims of domestic violence.
Kahit ako hindi ko in-expect yun. That's a lot. That's 25%. Diba?
Correct.
Yeah. So,
25%.
So, this is still not enough para maging urgent approval nitong divorce bill?
The problem is it has been so politicized, especially with the firm stand of the church on do not support candidates. Ganon, di ba?
Naging black voting. Ganon.
Yeah, they came out kagaya nung dinidebate yung reproductive rights.
Yes.
Reproductive bill, yung pag-use ng
contraception,
not as a health issue and as a family planning issue for right-sizing of families. Na gano'n, naglabas ang church ng negative list. Do not vote for.
Yes.
And although there still is a big question on whether there is a Catholic vote, not like there is an Iglesia vote. That's
not talagang mandatory.
There are Kibuloy votes, really, no? But is there a Catholic vote really? No. But our politicians are believing that there is. And so they will never offend. They will never offend the perceived church vote.
I see.
Or perceived block voting of the Catholic Church or negative list of the Catholic Church by siding with pro-divorce laws.
And I think now, dahil nga magkakaroon ng elections on May, now we have kind of like, I keep saying this, we have the power to vote in these people who would give priority to these kinds of laws. So, ang masaklap lang is I don't think they're winning. Or parang, I feel like masyadong death sentence for a politician to say, I will legalize divorce or I will help push through it. Diba? Parang ganun. So, it's hard to say na walang Catholic influence yung voting natin.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because you and I, no?
Yeah.
Culturally, syempre, every time I speak about it,
Yeah.
I know that I make dami akong kaibigan dyan, saradong Katoliko, or I also belong to an organization where we have 6 bishops
Yeah.
in the group, no? So I'm also very careful about what I say.
Okay.
But being careful is not always being right, because being right is on the side of humanity. Di ba? Basic principle yan sa Constitution natin, respect for one's rights.
Yeah. It's such a, kasi ito yung nakikita ko ngayon, we have a very, I think ito na yung pinaka-progressive na Pope
Oh, yeah.
that we have. But I feel like parang yung values that he's trying to put out there is not being reflected with our, yeah.
Exactly. Because our Pope is such an activist.
Yes.
He even says, go ahead. He doesn't call it divorce, but he says if you're victims of incestuous rape, if you are victims of violence, by all means, no, end the marriage.
Yeah.
And then even here on church annulments, no, because even here sa church annulments, ang directive niya sa mga parishes, libre na dapat yan.
Yeah.
For church annulments.
Yeah.
But as we know, there is a difference between, there is separation of church and state.
Yeah.
Even if you get a church annulment, if you're not legally annulled or separated by the court, you're still married.
Gets. Yan yung minention may separation of church and state. Now, I know wala naman talagang Catholic vote, but the mere fact that they're kind of like, di ba, going against contraception, going against abortion, going against divorce, di ba medyo parang encroaching? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I think it has to do with what really is the definition of the understanding of separation of church and state. I think historically it draws from the olden times where the Pope the Pope determined who would be the next prime minister, who would be the next king.
Yeah.
Di ba? Yun, the church and they were really intrinsically
Hand in hand talaga.
Oh,
Yeah.
diba? In fact, you have popes then, I hope I don't sound sacrilegious, who had fathered children who became kings or queens. So I think that strictly speaking has to do with the concept of separation of church and state. The state should determine through its process, if it's a democracy, through the right to vote, who its leader should be. It should not be dictated by the church. This is not to say that the church should not interfere with affairs of for instance, sabi nila, bakit hindi nagsasalita ang church sa issue ng corruption? Ba't hindi nagsasalita ang church sa issue ng pogo? Yung issue ng poverty? Yung issue ng, bakit hindi nagsasalita ang church? Some sarado, some very rigid prelates say, a separation of church and state? No. It cannot be that you say that you are the church and are not concerned about your people, are not concerned about your disciples.
Yes, your community. Yeah?
Your community. In that sense, if you see a marriage that has become a farce, where the husband beats the wife, or where the wife, no, and it applies. It can be the wife is abusive, no? In fact, I have more male clients, I think.
Really?
Than female clients.
Wow.
It is, you do not have a monopoly. The men have no monopoly of abusive conduct. Women also have many ways. Because when you talk about violence, hindi lang physical yan. It's psychological, emotional, verbal. Di ba? That's also violence. And so the women also can be can be the abusers and the men can be the victim. So this is not to say that this is an anti-male legislation. No, it's a pro-human rights.
It's everyone.
Yeah, so the church must weigh in on issues like this, but because issues like this concern their community, di ba?
Right now, it's really just on the hands of our legislators, no? So specifically 25 people, I think. So naisip ko parang, ewan ko might be really off strat or malayo. But is there like meron bang umaabot sa point na tipong, okay, kung ayaw ng legislators and the people speak up enough, pwede bang magkaroon ng kind of like, okay, put it down to a vote or something like that? Or something in a more of parang democratic solution to get this done?
We are a democracy.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's the people who decide.
Yeah.
That's why there are provisions in the Constitution that say it can be a referendum, it can be a plebiscite.
Yeah.
But again, who will approve the holding of a referendum?
Okay, gets.
Who will approve the holding of plebiscite?
Yes.
Congress.
Yeah.
And it's not only Congress, the lower house.
Yes.
It's not only Congress. Yun na nga ang debate. Is it Congress and Senate acting together as one? Or Congress and Senate voting separately?
Okay.
Siyempre, ang sabi ng senators, dapat voting separately. Kasi 300 kayo 350 kayo Kami,
20 lang kami.
24 lang kami. Di talo na kami sa majority or sa plurality of votes. So, mahirap yun.
Yeah.
We're back to square one because the Senate, which will not even approve a divorce bill, will not approve a plebiscite tackling
so we can rally revolution, ganun ang aabutin?
Ganun na lang.
Wow, grabe.
Or let the ballot be your bullet.
Yeah.
Let the ballot be your bullet. We need more discerning voters.
Yes.
Sa mga pag-iikot ng mga kandidato natin, ano yung mga priority agenda? Siyempre, nandyan yung issue ng poverty, housing, etc. Nababack burner yung urgency ng divorce, etc. But it should be taken in the bigger context of a family being part of a community, the community being part of the nation. The stronger the family, the stronger the community, the stronger the nation.
Yeah.
Piliin nyo yung kandidato na magagawa yon. Hindi yung kandidatong magnanakaw.
Yeah.
Hindi yung kandidatong imbis na sa education pupunta, yung pork barrel, ginagastos sa Lexus. Ginagastos sa bakasyon abroad, no? Because, for instance, you're taking, it's just for example, yung budget na dapat pumunta sa values, education, sa eskwelahan where it should be taught. Good manners and right conduct. Meron nga libro, no, what I learned in kindergarten. If you did not learn it in kindergarten, you never learned it at all. So, choose people who will spend people's money wisely. And then you have a better nation.
It's such a parang paulit-ulit na sinasabi sa mga tao how important the vote is every time we have an election. But it's really because it is that. Talaga sobrang important talaga siya. And
it's a popularity contest.
Yeah.
You've seen the list of candidates.
Oh, yeah.
We already, those of us who are cynical, already we're already predicting the outcome. If the surveys are an indication of how the voting will be. And that's why it's very important for us to use the ballot as our bullet.
Yeah. Yun talaga. Wala nang iba, guys. Unless na talagang, yun nga,
despair or mag-ibang bansa ka.
Or mag-rise ka ng magsimula ka ng mutiny or something, I don't know. Baka matag tayo as yung last 10 minutes sa episode, nag-brainstorm lang tayo paano i-overthrow yung gobyerno.
I'm not saying, don't overthrow the government.
No.
Just overthrow the idiots in government. Okay?
That's true. Yes. And we can literally do that actually.
can do that.
Yeah, in the next election.
In
And
your program, you can do that.
yeah. In tawag dun in right now kasi we're saying realistically, divorce bill does not get passed for a long time. And whatever progress we have now might be destroyed, 'di ba? Parang pwede siyang bumalik in square one and everything. So right now, as maybe you are someone out there who's listening and you are waiting for the divorce bill to pass and umaasa ka, but right now wala pa.
It's not gonna happen.
What do they do, these people?
If we the primary responsibility of values education
Yeah.
is the parents.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is the you moms and you dads who are listening here
Mm.
have the burden
Mm.
of inculcating the right values to your children who will later become mothers and fathers, who will later get married or for that matter decide not to get married.
Yeah.
It's also a choice.
Yes, exactly.
Or single blessedness is a choice.
Yeah.
It's as respected as it is unions of couples. You can be single and happy. It's
Yeah.
always a choice.
Mm.
Or you may want to choose somebody of the same gender. That's also a choice.
Yes.
It may not be a marriage, but there are legal consequences.
Mm.
It's not a conjugal relationship, but there are legal consequences of a same-sex relationship, like co-ownership of properties, or you can adopt a child.
Yes.
You can. So there are many ways. And my advice is, let us keep parents. Let us not depend on the state. Let us not depend on the schools. Let us not depend on the church. Let's not even depend on Congress
Mm.
on how to bring up our children so that they can have a solid family,
Mm.
so that they know their obligations as parents and as mother, father, as husband, wife, as brother, sister, etc.
Mm.
So that the family is strengthened. We don't need a law for
Tama.
that.
Tama. And that's such a very good ending to what I would say a very, very different way to look at divorce, no? Kasi ako kahit ano from before we ended this episode, ang naisip ko talaga it's just the exit from but the divorce bill talaga really actually it's more of like strengthening our family system, no, I think.
Yeah.
So
Remember, the importance is the entry.
Yeah.
Not the exit.
yes.
Strengthen the entry process.
Mm.
And the church role is that.
Yes. So yun. Oh my God, thank you so much, attorney. That was
Thank you,
such a
Red.
very, very refreshing take. Sobrang nakakatawa pa kasi umabot na tayo sa pag pag-mutiny at paglaso ng asawa. But yes, the Medyo Serious Talk Show is on at 1 News 9 p.m. every Tuesday. Kung wala kang TV, it's on at YouTube. Just search the Medyo Serious Talk Show with Red Ollero. Thank you so much, attorney. We hope na next time we have you here, baka mapasa na yung divorce bill. Thank you.
You could be old and gray. Thank you.